And I have some inside information, but I don't know if I could, I'm going to say it.
Okay, tell us.
There are possibilities they're going to continue opening more of that house for future meetups.
Wow.
So you have to wait to see like if that's going to be a thing, but I do have footage of that being said.
All right, you guys, what's up? And welcome back to another episode of Club 30s with MJFANGIRL. And I am so excited today because I have one of my closest friends, one of my Jackson sisters. What's up to Gadget Trish?
Hey, MJFANGIRL.
How are you?
Very, very honored to be here. Like, I know we're friends, but also see you as a YouTuber. Isn't that weird? My friend's actually a YouTuber.
I know. I could say the same
didn't
thing.
Talk that way, but
yeah, you actually, if you guys don't know, Trish has been a long time YouTuber, and she specializes in Jackson family content. She does other types of content too, like Star Wars and electronics, gadgets, and also she has a vegan channel. She does a little bit of everything on YouTube. So, but yeah, she's one of the reasons that I started this YouTube thing. So gotta always give up my props and my flowers to Gadget Trish.
You know, it's funny though, guys. She's the reason why I came back to YouTube. I had a moment. For those who do social media, sometimes you just need a woosa. And she's like, no, keep going. So yeah, it's so funny how we helped each other.
Seriously. And you guys know I've been gone for quite a while. If you have been watching my YouTube channel, MJFANGIRL, you know I've been gone for a while. And Trish was like, don't leave too long. So here I am. And thank you for helping me get back on this fun ride called YouTube. And now Spotify, if you're listening to this as an audio episode. But today we're actually going to be talking about something that I would consider ourselves kind of experts in. Trish and I have traveled to lots of Michael Jackson events and places, and I just thought it'd be really great to get on here because we've got a lot of fellow fans that ask, how do you guys travel to all these events? Where's another, Michael Jackson related location or filming location I should go to? And I thought we could have a great conversation about it and let you guys know some of the top places to visit as a Michael Jackson fan, and also some of the ways we get out there, tips and tricks and savings and booking flights, getting our tickets, where to find out about the events. And then lastly, we're going to talk about making friends. Maybe you are going alone or maybe you're going with friends. How do we create that sense of community at these events? So let's get into it. Okay. All right. So Trish, there are really three main cities, I think, in the United States that hold the most of like the Michael Jackson attractions or the events. That's New York City, Los Angeles, and Vegas.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Absolutely agree.
Okay. So I feel like first of all, if you guys don't know, we are originally from New York City, born and raised New Yorkers. So we've got to talk about New York first. And I think one of the big events and things to do and see there is the Broadway musical.
Yeah.
MJ the Musical. And Trish, you were just there a couple days ago.
Yeah. You know what's cool about the musical? Now, I only saw it once, now twice. So we have the new actor there. And for some reason, it just felt like a whole different musical. You felt Michael's pain from the past. I don't want to give too much away after that. But I just felt like I was watching a whole different musical. So I think I'm going to have to make a tradition to see it minimum once every 12 months or once a year, like 12 to 18 months, just to refresh myself. Because first of all, the cast changed everything. It's like the new little Michael.
So cute.
I'm just like, it was just something about the casting that really worked for me. And they had some new merch. I like little things here and there, but it was just awesome. And it is actually there's two things on Broadway. I didn't see the second one, that and The Wiz.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that The Wiz was out. That
Yeah.
is amazing. For you, those of you guys that don't know, Michael was in the screen adaptation of The Wiz in the 70s. I believe it was 78 or 79. Probably 70, or maybe even earlier, 77, around there. He was in The Wiz. So that's very cool to know.
Right? Hopefully when you come back, maybe to New York, maybe we can go.
Yes, I would love to. I actually, I would love to see that, and I would love to see the musical again too. I've only seen it one time. I did see it with Miles Frost, who won the Tony Award for his portrayal of Michael, and I think it's a must see for all Michael Jackson fans. And you would think, okay, what's so exciting about seeing a play about someone whose life I already know about? Right? You might be thinking that if you're like someone that knows a lot about Michael, but the fact of the matter is the way they tell the story and the way that they incorporate his music and just little nods and hints of things that like only really big fans would know. It
Mhm.
just is a feel good time. And it also, you walk away with like a better understanding of Michael, I feel like.
I think it's also a good compliment for the upcoming biopic because, again, like for some reason, I focus more on the flashbacks to the past and present, and I was more in the past, and I felt again. I think it was the actor. You were just like, wow, okay, I have to see this again, like every couple of months. Like,
Yeah, and that's a good point. The biopic, I'm so curious to see like how they're gonna shape this, apart from like how they're gonna make it similar to the musical, but how's it gonna be different? I mean, I know it's gonna be different, but it's gonna be interesting to see the storyline and the angle that they take.
heck yeah.
Um, okay, so the Broadway musical is, I feel like that's the main thing in New York, right?
Oh, and the Apollo plaque with Michael.
Yes, the Apollo Theater. Where the Jackson 5, that was one of their first like performances where they like, I think they did really well. I think they win a talent show? It was something like that. I should have looked that up prior to this episode, but
Right?
they definitely they made their mark at the Apollo. I think they might even have like a little picture up in there if you go inside.
I hope they put a Jackson's plaque there in the future, especially with the recent passing of Tito.
Yeah.
You know how I feel. I love Michael with all my heart. Like, for me, this journey started with Michael. I'm not gonna act like I was the Jackson YouTuber, but I was a big MJ and Janet fan. But now that I'm so more educated with the history, and you are as well, you're like, they all should get recognition. And if they all can get individual names, can we just get just the Jacksons? That's all I'm asking. It's like,
Yes, they
at the Apollo
definitely.
as well.
Yeah, they definitely deserve that. I feel that they've made their mark as a family in such a impactful way in, when they first came on the scene in the 70s, and they kind of paved the way for a lot of the black groups that came after them, the black like male groups like the New Editions, like even like a Boys to Men, like B5, like all of them. I just don't know. All of them. B2K, whoever. Um,
Yeah.
Paved the way, really. So, yeah, that is kind of the New York City thing. If you're interested, actually, you can kind of look up some other locations to go to by looking at both of our channels. They often have pop up events. I also have like a little PDF book, an ebook that
Yes.
lists out some of the locations, including like a Japanese restaurant that Michael used to frequent, and the owner gave him like a little plaque inside, which was nice. Uh, you've got the Hit Factory where he recorded some music, which is now an apartment building, but still they have. I think they have like a bad record hanging up in the lobby. But
They
yes.
still have the bench. The bench moved though. Again,
Oh,
maybe when you come back, we can go find out where it is now. But the Michael Jackson bench is still at the. Is it the
I think
Botanical?
the Botanical Gardens, Brooklyn
And
Botanical
Brooklyn.
Gardens.
And that vision was from a moonwalker named Linda, who's now passed away. But you always want to mention the ones who made it possible to make New York a special place, including MJ Fangirl. She had a fan club when that's how I met her.
Yes,
Legacy of Love.
Legacy of Love. That was my big thing. This got to be in like the early 2010s. I ran a fan club for like 5 years or something.
Which is a big deal. I think like I wouldn't have a YouTube channel without people like MJ Fangirl, Melanie, and Amada, who have made events epic and random in New York and made New York special. But yeah, I do miss the groups. So I understand like things have to change, life changes. So people I don't even hear anymore. Like here in Cali and Amada's in Florida.
I know it's just so interesting because we used to run all these big events and like watch parties and all that, but that's not to say that you guys can't do it yourselves. Hey, the meetups.com still exists. That's kind of where I held my club. So if you're out there wanting to start a Michael Jackson club, I recommend meetup.com to start it. But you did mention that I'm now in California, so we should move on to California, which is like the big, to me.
Epic. Yeah, this is the place.
Yeah, this is the spot if you're looking to go to Michael Jackson events or to do kind of like the tour of Michael Jackson related places. You've got to come here. Number one, you've got the Star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Right next to the Star, you've got the you've got the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood. It's literally right like a couple blocks away, if not on the same block. They've got not some merch, but some memorabilia in there.
Is that the one with the Dangerous Burger?
Yes.
I heard it was epic. You don't understand. The girls will not shut up about this burger.
Is it really that good?
Listen, I will send you the breakdown of what's going on in the next couple of days.
Okay.
But I'm going to try that burger very soon.
Ooh, yum. Okay, for those of you guys who don't know, Hard Rock Cafe has a partnership with Heal LA, Heal Los Angeles Foundation, which is a foundation by Prince Jackson, Michael Jackson's son. And they do a lot of charity work helping underprivileged youth in Los Angeles, providing mental health outlets as well as physical activity and movement classes and cooking classes. And the proceeds of that Dangerous Burger go towards Heal LA. So definitely if you're in Hollywood checking out the Star, go get your lunch at Hard Rock Cafe and get that Dangerous Burger.
And it's vegan friendly. I heard it was vegan friendly. You might have to tweak a couple of things, but I think someone said even the bacon's vegan. I won't let it tell. I'll have to confirm it soon, but yeah, in the name of science, I'll let you guys know.
Yes, please let us know. I'm like, I want to go too. We might have to set up something. So just want to list off a couple of other things. Grammy Museum, the Thriller filming location, meaning like the house where he filmed Thriller, as well as the street where they did the iconic Thriller dance. And then you have the Heal Los Angeles Foundation events, which Trish has been to many of them. So many. Tell us, okay, first of all, can you break down some of the Heal LA events for us, Trish?
So you have the most iconic, but now that's going to be the rarest one. It's Thriller Nights. And that's the first one MJ Fangirl and I attended. And now they have this series called King of Popcorn, where you get to see the property both in the day and the nighttime. And for me, I know I've gone there like now to 3 King of Popcorns. But I think for me, I'm still pinching myself saying, I cannot believe I'm on this property. And every time it's a different experience. So I'm one of those people, like if something's accessible to me, whether I have the money or not, I'm going. So yeah, I do like these in and out trips. I've gotten really good at flying in and flying out now. So I'm just like, no hotel, no car rental. I just go from the airport to the house and from the house back to the airport.
You are a trooper.
it's just such a part of history. And, MJ and I, Fangirl, we've always talked about things like going to Neverland and Havenhurst. And these are like things fans always want to access to. And I'm like, well, if you're, and the proceeds are going to the Hill Los Angeles children. So it's just like a donation that actually gives back to the person who gives. So I'm for it.
Yeah, and it's so much fun, you guys, and it's surreal to be on that property. Like whether you go there once, twice, 3 or 4 or 5 times, like if you're out there listening to this and you've been there a bunch of times, I see you and I know you're getting your ticket to go back because I'm the same way. It's surreal and it feels good to give back, like Trish said, but it also is like it's very nice because you get to interact with other fans. You get to go and dress up for the night. You may be able to bump into a Jackson family member or a fan that you have heard of or seen online that you've never met in person. So I love that. They've always got great food and amazing photo ops. They've got like little pictures of Michael and his family members. And also they let you go inside the house, you guys. It's not just in the courtyard.
Well, this year they opened up the pool, and I didn't have it in my vlog because I didn't realize it was open. The studio was, how it was for Thriller nights, and I had some inside information, but I don't know if I could. Well, I'm going to say it.
Okay, tell us.
There are possibilities they're going to continue opening more of that house for future meetups.
Wow.
So you have to wait to see like if that's going to be a thing. But I do have footage of that being said. So I just won't share that.
Well, thank you for giving us the exclusive. I love hearing that. And
Should I show you the popcorn box they gave us last time?
yes, show us.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. I'll continue telling everybody. So at these events also you have merch. Thriller nights, King of Popcorn, they have like free popcorn, free. It's like a concession stand, but it's all free. Amazing, like big theater movie size packs of candy, hot dogs. They've got, I think they had like tacos last time. Just really, really a great event to attend. Yes, look at that popcorn box.
Oh my gosh. It's like the size of a cereal box. And then, of course, I got a cup.
Wow.
I will have not 1, but 2 videos relating to this. We'll get back to that later.
Wait, is that reusable?
I wouldn't suggest it because if you smell the inside, you're like, I'm not sure if this is something I can keep using.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I will be, like I said, I'll repurpose it, but
it keeps good so that it's something that you could continue to keep. Okay, it's not like a paper bag.
Everyone was treating this like a souvenirs for the last one. They were just like, "Can we get flat ones?" Like people were walking out like, "Can we get one?"
That is awesome.
If you need one, let me know. Let me know. I could bring one to you to Cali.
Thank you. Now I'm like, I like that. That's a cool item. But yeah, let's go on to Vegas, and then I think it'd be fun to kind of go through like how we find out about the events, how we make all this stuff happen, attending. So let's skip to Vegas. Vegas, you have the Michael Jackson 1 Cirque du Soleil show, as well as the Michael Jackson 1 store. Now, there are other hotels and places that you can go. You could go see the Wax Museum, all that. But I'm just mentioning MJ1 and the MJ1 store because that is the main thing to see in Las Vegas related to Michael Jackson. Hands down.
Heck yeah. And it is the most budget-friendly place to travel because the hotels are significantly cheaper than places like California and New York. So,
great point.
Like that's the only place you ever see me get a hotel is Vegas. Otherwise than that, I just fly in and out.
And it's possible, you guys. Like that's another thing. Like Trish. Okay, so now that we're on the subject of flying in and out, budgeting. This is something because Trish and I and our other friends, we've gone to many of these events throughout the years. We've even gone as far as Paris to see an exhibition. It was called the On the Wall exhibition. It was an art exhibition We've gone to Canada to see the premiere of Thriller 3D. We've done a lot of these trips. Now, I would love to hear if you have any budgeting tips on how to make these happen.
So it's so weird this ties into you again. So out of nowhere, MJ Fangirl goes, "Hey Gadget, we're going to Paris to see this exhibit. I'm thinking it's gonna be like in Pennsylvania or something." And she goes, "No, Paris." So you suggested Delta. And luck would have it, I did get approved for the card. And if you go up in tiers, you get stuff like the miles and access to the lounge and all this stuff. So what I did is the way I travel, some of these flights are free. And recently I saw Janet Jackson. The flight was $6. And then because I was on their top tier for $30 more, I was in first class. It was so
$6?
$6. And so then I have access to the lounge. The Delta Lounge has a shower there. So I take showers there and everything. And it's unlimited food and everything. Now, unfortunately, Delta has gotten very popular. So sometimes it, gets crowded, but I haven't experienced that yet. But thanks to TikTok, people have shown me footage. But it's like if I'm coming from Havenhurst, I can take a quick shower before I get on the flight. I stay in the lounge, until midnight they close, and they open again around 4 a.m. Now they're not supposed to let you in twice, but sometimes they do. So that I love Delta, even though they're not the most inexpensive. When you get upgrades like unlimited food and shower, I don't have the hotel now. It's the better value, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I get to literally charge my body, charge my gadgets. Because if you ever go to LAX, when you land, for some reason, like the charging station is like the worst I've ever seen. And you see us all standing by this one little thing to charge. If I'm in the lounge, I'm just in the lounge and I can have all the unlimited power I need. Another trick is I do JetBlue as well. It's not as fancy, but sometimes they're the cheaper flights. I would say the trick is bring your own food. I will have video about that in the near future. Don't wrap it in foil if you don't want them to buzz off your stuff. But little tricks I learned over time. I also bring these little sport sack bags. So I'll bring an extra one just in case we have some King of Popcorn stuff to bring back. And look how little this is and how big it gets. And most important, it's durable. So I actually brought the big one to Paris, but this is something I would bring just in case.
Wow.
And it fits, I think, 2 King of Popcorn boxes. And this is the one we brought to Paris. These are not inexpensive, but I brought a lot of this stuff in closeouts. I buy them used on eBay. I am the eBay queen. So I just brought a used one for $60. It's normally $120, $130.
Wow.
So, because this one doesn't fit under my seat, but when we went to Paris, this was my actual luggage.
Wow.
And it's really big. I can't even
I remember that. And Paris was what? That's got to be 5 or 6 years ago. So
yeah, and we were there for 4 days and I had all my stuff in there.
That is amazing. You guys, it can be done. Like what Trish is saying, taking advantage of miles, whether we're coming from New York, New Jersey area. So of course, Delta, they have those direct flights to a lot of these locations. But if you don't, if you're better on another airline and that's the one that's going to get you to those places, sign up for the rewards programs, make sure you're taking advantage of the miles. And then also, I think another thing is a lot of times as fans, we get caught up in is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be fun? Is it going to be this or that? Sometimes you just have to take the plunge. And I'm not saying to be financially irresponsible. I want you to pay your bills and all that stuff. But sometimes it's worth it just to go once and give it a shot and see. Because a lot of times you'll be like, hey, that event was fun. I want to go back next year. Maybe I am going to chill on going to the movies as much this year. Or maybe I am going to save money on going out to eat as much because I want to save my money for this event. And that's what I've had to do, especially because now I have a lot of different expenses that I did not have prior. Like I was just telling Trish before this call, our daycare bill is out of control. It's kind of high, but everybody everybody knows that daycare is expensive in the US, and so that's money that before I'd be like, hey, I want to take this money and go to Vegas or take this and go here or there. But now we have to budget differently. And yeah, that would be my tip, is to really just take the plunge, go to one of these, see how you feel, and then go from there. And then you can set your budget monthly on how much you want to save towards it.
Well, if you invest in an airline credit card, like I think the one that I got like a year or two ago, they gave me like 6 flights for free.
Wow.
And some of my credit, one of them actually finances things for me. So like, or I guess I can tell y'all now, I never aired it yet, but I saw Janet Jackson VIP. It was insanely expensive, and they financed it for me. Once I charged it, I earned so many miles. I got like more money in free flights than it cost to see Janet. So if you're good at
Wow.
manipulating things and saying, well, I want to see Janet, but I need to go have flights for King of Popcorn. How do I make this balance out? And so instead of paying for flights this year, I pretty much got to like get the flights for free, see Janet anyway. So you just got to be really good. And I'm financing it. I'm not paying any interest on this. So yeah, you got to make it work.
Yeah, that's like the best. Finding those deals where there's zero interest. Because if you don't have the cash at the moment, hey, you will get it. You will earn it. So that's always a nice strategy. I want to talk also about going to some of these events alone. Because I know a lot of you out there. I mean, I was like this too before I met good friends like Trish. I used to go to events by myself. And I want to talk about that. But before we do that, I want to mention our Patreon. Are you a Michael Jackson fan? Yes, our new Patreon. Are you a Michael Jackson fan that loves to chat about your favorite song, dissect interviews, and travel to events, but you're tired of doing it alone? Well, Club 30s is for you. Club 30s on Patreon is where we uncover the greatest moments in MJ's career and chat all things King of Pop. Join our community for weekly polls, exclusive content, and live streams, as well as access to the private group chat where you can interact with fellow Michael Jackson fans just like us in real time. And the best part is it helps to support this show. So join us over on www.patreon.com/MJFangirl, and I'll see you in the chat.
Or maybe me too.
Yeah, exactly. We'll both meet in the chat. Okay, so going to these events solo. Have you gone to any events solo? Any of the ones we've talked about?
Most of them. Because these are not inexpensive. Like, especially coming from New York to Cali. At first, I was a little nervous. I'm used to coming with the whole sisterhood, but I've gotten so many things like dialed in. I've learned like, be early to your flights, take off your jewelry to keep, that thing, the TSA thing from ringing. Don't carry metal in your bag. I would say your safety is an issue always. So I always make sure that my family knows what flight I'm on, when I know, like when I start moving around, and the fans that we meet up at King and Popcorn, like we form little group chats and Instagram and stuff to let each other know, did we make it back home safely? So we do have accountability. And what I like about the fan group is you may not be friends when you start, but when you organically start connecting with people, you start keeping tabs on them. But most important, let your family know where you are or your significant others. But that's the only danger. Like, just you don't like to go to places by yourself because there are strength in numbers. But I'm usually just going from the airport to the house. Just got to make sure that you get there safely. That's about it. But I love it now. Now you'd be like, oh, I'm like great with going by myself. And then of course, because we've been part of the fan group since 2009, I'm very familiar with a lot of the faces. Like, even if I don't remember your name, I always remember your face, and I always remember how I met you. So it's just like, the Germany girls, Paige, and Jennifer and them, you'll see them a lot. The Vegas girls, which are known as Tori and Jennifer. and Scarlett. You'll see them a lot. The New York Sisterhood, which is me, MJ Fangirl, Rocky, Shelly. Like you'll see us as well. But now that most of the stuff is in Cali, I have to kind of fly by myself. If I had money, I would pay for all my friends' tickets, but I could barely do it myself. So I encourage it. You never know what you're gonna miss. I know hate to have like this downer moment, but the last time I saw Tito was at the Havenhurst house at Miller.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I remember he was like in disguise. I said, "Hey, Papa T,
What
I
did he
know
say?
that, I was like, I know that's you, but I'm going to leave you alone. I just wanted to say hi." Looking back, I wish I took the picture, but I remember like he was looking down at us from Michael's room, and I couldn't figure out if he was like, "What?" or "Hey, that's cool." But it was just nice that you never know what you're going to see, especially at those Hill Los Angeles things and the Dee Dee Jackson events. Sometimes there's Jackson, sometimes there's not. But I think the best thing is just forming memory with other fans, because those are the people that you're really, at least for me, like you're invested in. You start learning their family, attending their weddings and their baby showers. You become a family for real. Like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, do you know the Jacksons?" I'm like, "No, they're familiar with me, but I know the MJ community." And that
Yes.
means the most to me, to be honest.
I 1,000% agree. Like I always say, like, okay, I came, in like loving Michael Jackson, and I'm still loving Michael Jackson, and that's what's got me staying, but also the community gets me to stay also. Like I've made so many friends from being a Michael Jackson fan. It's something about being a fan of the Jackson family and Michael, like I don't know if it's like a personality trait or like things that we've experienced in life that have drawn us to Michael, and therefore we are drawn to each other in that way too.
Hmm.
And I really love these events because like Trish said, you'll see familiar faces. And even if you don't, if you go up to someone, "Hey, I love your shirt," or "I like your glove," because we're all always decked out in our Michael or Jackson's best at these events, like go up.
Wait, or my MJ Fangirls merch. I wear MJ Fangirl stuff.
Yes. And
Going places. Like, I'm a legit customer. Love your merch.
yes, thank you so much. And if you want, you can see that in the description box below here in this YouTube video. The merch is down there, including the Going Places World Tour stuff, which was like my favorite design. But anyway, yeah, like you can make friends, you guys, and you're definitely gonna have fun whether you go by yourself or not. Shoot, even
Yeah.
if you don't talk to anybody, if you're really shy and you're an introvert, you don't talk to anybody, you will still have fun because there's gonna be music, there's gonna be things for you to do, there's gonna be food, snacks, like you'll just have a great time. So I think
Yeah,
um
it's so funny. Like in New York, I do a lot of stuff by myself too, and you'll see me legitly by myself for real, for real. It's just like MJ the Musical had a meetup last year or the year before with Miles Frost. I was completely, I'm fine. Like, and I would say this though: don't force friendships. Let it really be organic. What's a good example of that? I don't know what's a good example of forcing friendships, but I'm one of those people like just see where you naturally connect with people. Like, don't force it. Like, you'll know person will be open to talking to you and reciprocating energy. So that's my only tip. Because sometimes people do try to force friendships, and I'm like,
yeah.
you'll be disappointed. Let it be organic. You may want to be friends with MJ Fangirl, but you might have a better rapport with Tori or Rocky.
Yeah.
In other words, just no expectations. Let things be organic. I know with me, I have a very complicated personality. That's why I always warn people. But I am an introvert, and at times I do shut down. So I know people don't believe it, but I promise you, like my coworker will tell you, I could be quiet for a whole 8 hours straight. I'm very, very quiet.
It's hard because I think as YouTubers and content creators, people automatically think that we're like very outgoing and always want to talk. And there are some elements of that, but then there are other ones where it's like, okay, I think we're very comfortable talking to the camera because there's nobody there right now.
Really.
um, but
And
yeah,
it's like, oh my gosh. It's like some people are like, how are you so chatty and so quiet? equally. And I'm like, because that's my real personality. There's no in between. Either I'm hot or cold doing it.
Yeah. That's too funny. Yeah. I mean, okay. So I think we've had a great conversation about traveling to these events, some of the hot spots that you can go to. One of the things that I want to remind you guys is I do have a book. It's called Going Places with MJ Fangirl. So if you go to mjfangirl.com/book, you can go and pick that up. I think it's like $5. If you join Patreon, you can get it for free. But it's a great like little guidebook of lots of different places you can go in those 3 cities that we mentioned. And it also has addresses and little maps of where you're going. So it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. I did create it 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe even more. So there are some things that could be updated, but most of the places are still legit. Like, you know, they're still there. I know one of the things that moved was the history statue in Vegas. I don't think that's there anymore.
It keeps going and coming and going and coming. I'm like, come back. So one time we went there. I think that's the one you and I went to. It was there.
Yes, it was.
And then Tori and them went this year, and now it's no longer there.
Yeah, that's so I have places like that in there, but for the most part, like the hotels and the museums and things I recommend are still there. So definitely check that out. All right, let's get into our next segment, which is going to be the last segment of today's show. This segment is called one of my favorite segments. It's called Dear Fangirl.
I do remember that was on the last Spotify, right? Well, YouTube too. I listened to both.
Yes, yeah, I did that. This is a new segment, you guys, because I feel like I get a lot of different questions in the comments and in DMs, and I thought it'd be a cool way to kind of address some of those because, hey, somebody else out there might have the same question. So if you're interested in writing, definitely check out the description box. I tell you how to submit your question for Dear Fangirl. You can also go to mjfangirl.com to figure out how to do that. All right. This question is from Ethan. Ethan writes, Hey MJ Fangirl, this is my first time writing in, but I've been a fan of your channel for a couple of years now. My question is, what do you think is the best way to keep Michael's memory and work alive? This is something I admittedly struggle with, as he is my favorite artist of all time, and I was only 8 years old when he died. For me, listening to his albums on vinyl and watching live performances like Bucharest are particularly meaningful ways to engage with his work on an individual basis, but wondering if you had any additional thoughts. Cheers. So, Ethan, thank you for that question. I can answer it and then I'll see if Trish has anything to add to it. I think one of the ways to keep Michael's memory and work alive is definitely obviously listening and watching, which is what you're doing. But I also would really encourage you to read some books about Michael and his life. They have amazing books about his creative process. There's a book called All the Songs, and it literally talks about every single song and kind of gives you like a little background and history on it. There's also another book, which I'm blanking on right now. It's about Michael Jackson's creative process by Joe Vogel. And I'm not remembering the name of the book, but I can put the picture right here for you guys so you can see it. But that's a good one. And I also really think it's fun to engage with his work by taking yourself on a little time machine back in time. This is something I used to love to do. Look on eBay, or you could go to michaeljacksonmarket.com and get some old magazines. Get some old magazines or old newspapers and read about Michael's career as if you were back then and kind of seeing it as it happened and watching it as it progresses. Like, I love doing that because it gives you a lot of context and it really gets you kind of thinking about Michael and his entire body of work and his career. By just looking at it like step by step and kind of like zooming in to see the trees where normally you may just be looking at the forest. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my tip on that.
I'll say for me, I'm all the things she said, and then one of my key things, and my observation of how his legacy is growing is being part of the community. So you have two communities. You have the Michael Jackson online community, and you also have the Michael Jackson in-person community, like how we had when MJ Fangirl had Legacy of Love. And what I did not realize, and I wish I documented things better, that right as we speak, history is being made about Michael Jackson's fans still still attending things as if he's still here. I hope someone does a book or a documentary on that, let alone, even though Tori said I should do it. But that's a whole different
Yes,
story.
you should do it. I agree with her.
But that it's so unique to me that it's 2024 and beyond, and we still attend things and literally have experienced things like going to Havenhurst, or just like Prince being at a brunch for MJ1 in Vegas. There's nothing like that. And, and now, like, he knows some of our faces. And so what I say is, we do make an impact when people see a bunch of people with MJ gear on out of nowhere. I actually met a girl. She said when she was younger, she remembers that 125th Street used to be filled with fans on June 25th.
Wow.
And I'm like, and she said that had such impact on her that she was just like, every year they would show up and just take over Harlem. And so that's another way of elevating his legacy, letting the world know his legacy does matter, and the Jackson family, by attending those things, whether it's online or in person.
I love that. And yeah, you're right. We never know who we impact, right? Like for us, it was like a normal thing to go out to the Apollo Theater every year. So that's awesome that stood out to that person. Yeah, I loved this conversation today. I hope you guys took away some good tips and a little bit of a short list of places that we recommend going. Really quickly, where can they find out about all these events? Because I get that question a lot, and I forgot to cover that earlier.
That is so it's a mixed bag. It's between MJ Fangirl's channel, my channel, and there's a new YouTuber by the name of Tori from the Invincible Jacksons. And also there's a new one, Jennifer Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah, so a combination, Joey from Moonwalking Kingdom. And we're trying our best to find a centralized way. But please follow all of us. I think Tori even has a discourse where they're sharing information. I hope to do a discourse. I just never use it. But now I'm starting to see the value of that, like, just to have a centralized place to have information. But we all share stuff in real time. There's so many times MJ Fangirl will tweet something. I'm like, I didn't know about that. Thanks. Or Tori will tweet something. Of course, like collectively, we all, and of course, follow the Jacksons individually,
Yes.
That's how I've gotten all my information. They were like, well, how did you know about Jermaine's book signing? He posted it.
Right. Yes. Follow the Jacksons seriously, because a lot of people have asked us even now, how do we go to the Heel LA Thriller Nights? Or how did we go to the King of Popcorn? I'm like, follow them on Instagram, follow them on Twitter, or if you don't do social media, which is fine too, I believe they also have, just their website, and you can sign up for their mailing list, and they do send out emails monthly. There's a monthly newsletter, so you can find out about those events. But yeah, I think it's also important to follow the official Michael Jackson page wherever you can, because they also post updates, whether that's on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And I want to thank you, Trish, for joining me, my travel buddy. We haven't been traveling together lately, but we will again someday.
I know, but it's so cool that you influenced. You had a big part of me, like, thinking bigger than the US, and then like just taking it to the next level. And I think if I did not have that Delta card, like, I think my life would be completely different. So it's so funny how friends influence people's decisions in the future. Because I was just like, and if I'm not mistaken, I did travel to Paris by myself and met you in Paris, correct?
Yes.
So like I would have never done that if that wasn't like, I'm like, well, how am I getting there?
Hey, and we made
we
made some amazing memories. And you never know what'll be out there in the future. And I also want to say, I can't wait. I don't know if you're going to be posting about your Janet VIP. Are you?
I will.
Okay.
It's just it's just been a very busy year. Hill Los Angeles is getting it's been really busy. And just in general with the Michael biopic, Janet, like I'm trying to cover all of them and I'm just like, whoa. But Janet, I hope to have probably before the year's over.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll look forward to seeing that. Trish, if you are listening to this, Trish is on YouTube. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, go to YouTube, follow her. Her Jackson channel is called I Love the Jackson Family. She's got the blanket right there, which she takes to all the events too. So the Jacksons got to know her by that blanket when they see it coming. They know your face. They know you. But still, when the blanket comes, they know what to do. Time to pose. So where else can they find you online, Trish?
Well, I do have a vegan channel, but we are focusing on health and fitness. Some of us are still dealing with pandemic weight. So, if you want to be a healthier vegan, I will stop being irresponsible and showing you guys all the bad food. And of course, the foundation is Gadget Trish, and I will be sharing like the mics and the lights and stuff. You will be so shocked. Even this set behind you was, I'm going to say, under $50. So we're going to like share like how to like build sets and things like that. That's in the near future. But I took a time out in honor of Tito's passing because it hasn't impacted me. We have actually met him. Tosh and TJ is always around us. And, it's just like once you start visiting the house and visiting the events and stuff, you're more invested in them as human beings more than artists. So I'm sincerely took a time out. I needed a time out, just focus on getting fit and just, because my channel has a lot to do with like, we're going to Comic-Con. I'm like, I don't care. Someone just passed away. Like, I'm back to my energy right now, but I took a time out.
I know it's such a loss to the Jackson fan community and to obviously to the family. And so if any Jackson family member is listening to this, we still send you our thoughts and our prayers for sure. And we're thinking of Tito and your whole family. And it's hard. It's especially like now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, going to some of these events even later this year.
Well, especially like mine are legitly like stuff like Comic-Con. And I remember it was an International Batman Day, and one of my friends were like, "Oh, you're not going to come to the event?" I said, my spirit's not in that at all.
Yeah.
It was like literally like a few days after Tito passed away, and I'm like, I do not care about Batman right now. Like, I didn't say it. That's how I was feeling. I was just like, what?
I know.
So I was like, it's time is slowly getting me back to my groove. But normally I do a lot of fun things too outside of gadgets. So I just needed a time out, as we all do. Because it's just like you're just being sensitive to the situation. I know we don't know them, but we're familiar with them and vice versa. So just out of respect.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, with that being said, you guys make sure that you are following us. We will be having, it's gonna be interesting. After this is live, we will be having an actual travel event that we're going to together, which we won't mention now. You'll have to subscribe to our channels to see where we'll be next. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode. Make sure again that you are joining patreon.com/MJFangirl to join the Club 30s chat. We also have exclusive videos that are just there for patrons. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.